Detective, that's all the jewelry that was seized right there. Is that correct?
Yes.
What are the items that are contained inside of this?
It's a whole bunch of jewelry, watches, chains recovered from the residence.
Can you look through that and tell me if there is a Richard Mill or Mille, M-I-L-L-E, RM055 Bubba Watson white ceramic watch?
I mean, I see a Richie Miller, but only it's a pink one. I don't see a white one.
I want you to confirm that there is no white one in there, just so you're certain.
There's not a white one in here.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need. I have no more questions.
Wait a minute. So we got the state's witness from last week on the stand to help bring truth to the case. But we got stolen jewelry missing from the state? Man.
If you're new, make sure y'all hit that notification bell, that like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grab a seat. We finna dig deep. What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Jay. And man, y'all know we got an exciting update with this YSL RICO trial. Now, we are down to the last two defendants left on this trial, Shannon and Yak. And man, it seems like the defense is still on the tag. But before we dig deep, y'all make sure y'all tap that notification bell, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and make sure you scroll down to all so you don't miss a drop whenever I drop. Y'all ready? Let's dig. Now, the day started off with the jury back in full effect, but again, only two defendants left on the trial. Now, ask yourself this, what more could the state actually want with these last two defendants since they already got the plea from King Slime? And did these last two defendants make the right decision by taking this all the way to trial? Now, the trial continued to roll, starting back with the state's key witness, Wanted Lee. Let's dig.
Blurry, but fixed. What does SLAT mean?
It's just a word to use, like lingo.
Okay.
SLAT.
And does SLAT have
Anything.
a specific?
It can mean anything you want. I mean, however you want to use it.
Does SLAT mean slime love all the time?
If you want to use it in that way, you can. But it's up to however you want to use it.
Have you used that to mean slime love all the time?
Not that I can't remember. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Do you recall taking a plea in this case?
Yes.
And do you recall filling out some documentation when you took the plea in this case?
Yes.
All right. And in that documentation, was there a definition of what SLAT means?
I don't remember by heart.
Okay. Well, taking a look at a copy of your plea agreement help refresh your memory as to whether or not there was a definition of what slime love all the time means.
No, I didn't say that wasn't a definition. I'm just saying, like, you asked me what do it mean. I'm telling you, it can mean whatever you want it to mean, however you want to use it.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, though, is that one of the ways you can use it?
Yeah.
All right. Now, in that video, where was that video filmed?
Can you put it back up here? I wasn't even paying attention.
Sure. In looking at that freeze frame, are you able to tell where that video was filmed?
I can't really see the background, but I just know it's outside.
Okay. Does that look like the same gas station where your video was filmed?
I don't remember. That's why I asked, can you play it again? But it might be. I don't know.
Okay. We'll play a few seconds of it.
I'm trying to rob him. And I keep a stick. Ain't no avoiding no fuck.
Yeah, that's like a gas station.
The same gas station where your video was filmed?
It might be. I don't know.
Okay. And in that video, do you see Miles Farley?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you also see Mr. Cormarvius Nichols in that video?
I don't know. I don't know. If he was, I wasn't paying attention.
And in that video, is Mr. Stillwell wearing a YSL chain?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And to your knowledge, do you know if Mr. Stillwell was ever signed to YSL, the record label?
I don't know. I know he was trying to get signed.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now, a few years ago, did you have the occasion to be present at a hearing involving Mr. Rodalius Ryan and Damone Blaylock?
Yes.
And were you present in that hearing to support Mr. Ryan and Mr. Blaylock?
Yes.
Okay. At some point during the course of that hearing, did you ever send a brain emoji or a rat emoji to a young lady by the name of R. Smith?
Can you repeat that? Somebody was coughing.
So, at some point during the course of that hearing, did you ever send a brain emoji and a rat emoji to a young lady by the name of R. Smith?
Think so, yeah.
Excuse me, M. Smith. I'm sorry. What was your purpose of sending a rat emoji?
Because she was lying.
Okay. And why did you send her a brain emoji?
because she was lying, and I just didn't know what was wrong with her brain.
Did you make any postings about Mr. Ryan after that hearing? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. And Your Honor, I think we need to approach this very briefly. All right.
So let's dig. What is it that the state actually wants with these two last defendants? Now, they failed to connect the actual connection on Big Nut, so they can't say that that's what it is. We know that one of their names came up in the incident with Shamel Drinks, when they both came up in the incident when it came to Big Nut. But the state actually connected dots when it came to Nut, and did they actually fail to connect the dots when it came to Shamel Drinks? Now, even more interesting is if you actually pay attention to this witness that's up on the stand, he's actually already taken the plea. So he is another one of the witnesses for the state that are actually free. Now, in my personal opinion, the defense definitely has a lot of work that they still have to put in, because as long as they keep getting witnesses like this on the stand, it's going to make it hard for the last two men. It's interesting because they bring up all the defendants. Miles Farley, the clothing designer. Interesting, what they didn't say is he's the one with the recorded phone calls where they had to unalive and they came behind him. So he's in here for way more than just clothing designer. No slime left behind. Make America slime again. He did that, but he also did a whole bunch of talking when he was on that jail phone coming from the pen. Now, as I said, the defense definitely has a lot of work that they have to put in. So here is where the defense comes back and spends the block of the state, getting that actual evidence out that the state let in. Let's dig.
Ms. Knight, would you put up 38 and then? Good morning, Mr. Lee. I'm Doug Weinstein. I represent Diamante Kendrick. I think you know him as Yakgotti, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so for you, just for convenience, I'll call him Yak, okay?
All right.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ms. Knight's putting up 38 NN. This is the third time, I guess, you've gotten to see this today. Do you recall where this photograph was taken?
At the studio.
At the studio. And y'all are standing outside the studio because I guess you're on a smoke break, is that correct? And you can't smoke in the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't smoke cigarettes in the studio.
Say that again?
Yeah, you can't smoke cigarettes in there.
I'm glad you clarified that point. You can't smoke cigarettes in the studio, so you're standing outside. And Yak is right behind you in this picture, right?
Yeah.
And you're wearing your Miles Farley clothing, as we've already established. And most of your interactions with Yak were related to recording in the studio and music. Is that correct?
All right.
Did you guys do a song together?
Yeah.
What was the name of that song? Do you remember?
I don't even remember.
You don't remember?
I don't think we ever dropped it.
Never dropped it, but you got it on a reel somewhere, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, in other words, your relationship with Yak is music oriented, right?
All right.
How many songs altogether do you think you've written before you were 18 and after 18? How many songs you put together?
I don't even know. I don't remember.
Over 1,000?
Probably so.
Probably so. And those songs, are all those songs factual?
No.
Are all those songs autobiographical, things that you actually did?
No.
So even though you came up on Cleveland, even though you're a rapper, you have an imagination? Is that correct?
Yeah, every artist do.
Every artist does, right? You don't lack an imagination because you're a rapper.
Right.
The vlogs that you go out and shoot, what's the process for that? Can you just explain it a little bit?
I don't even know.
Are you holding the camera at some point?
You saying, are you talking about in that particular
Just
video?
in general, you can. And once that's all recorded, who edits that? Do you edit those vlogs?
Nah.
There's some other editor that does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. You have any input into that?
Nah, I didn't even know it was going to get dropped.
Okay. And, talking about that, there's a lot of people that have input into the vlog, right? But also into your lyrics. Is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. So does your producers have input into what goes into those lyrics?
Labels may make suggestions on what you should say or how you should say some stuff or what you should drop or what you should not drop.
Okay, so when we're looking at lyrics that you're singing, you may or may not have written those lyrics, correct?
Yeah.
Even if you have written those lyrics are maybe the product of input from the record label, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain things the record label wants in those lyrics, correct?
Yeah.
There's certain things that are part of the genre of trap music that might be in there, or drill music, correct?
Yeah, it depends on the image that the label want to push.
What was the image they were pushing for you?
Slime, I guess.
Slime. Okay, and so there's certain tropes, there's certain things that need to be in there, correct, and the label wants you to have those in there.
Objection, speculation.
Well, from your experience, does the label want you to have certain things in those lyrics?
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I have no more questions for you. Thank you very much.
Redirect.
So let's talk about that. Now that was interesting. You definitely got to salute Weinstein. Him and Short are definitely playing no games. Now Short actually did a piece of the cross also, but I wanted to make sure that we zoomed in right here on this piece because most of the correlation and connection that the state is trying to do right now is not even really with too much of Shannon, because Shannon has some other stuff that he has to actually go through and still screaming freedom boys. But at the same time, the state still has not connected the dots with anything with yakgotti outside of allegation and speculation. So it's interesting that the way that the attorney came up here and just shredded the state's narrative. Let's deflate and debunk their narrative, their theories, their ideas, the lyrics, their meaning, their concepts, the narrative that they paint. Let's just go ahead and debunk it. It's 2024. Ask yourself this. Now, I run my social media at times, but I also have moderators that actually help me do stuff. Definitely not in the position of Young Thug and a lot of the YSL defendants, whether good or bad. But ask yourself this. When it comes to the entertainment business and artists, how many artists are actually still running their social medias? How many artists are actually still sitting up and doing their own personal tweets? Just like the tweet that came out from Young Thug over the weekend talking about the snitches and the rats. Let's forget them. Why? I don't even believe Thug typed this. This is just entertainment purposes. That's what they say, for entertainment purposes only. So was Weinstein correct to come out and attack the state's theory in that perspective? My personal opinion, A+ for the actual defense, a W early in the day, and an L for the state. But the state, for some odd reason, just won't go away. Let's dig.
You talked about being signed to Alamo Records. Are you signed to a subsidiary of Alamo Records?
Can you repeat that?
Yes. Are you signed to a subsidiary of Alamo Records?
What does that mean?
Are you signed to OTF?
No.
Have you ever been signed to OTF?
No.
In one of your pictures, you're wearing an OTF chain. What is that chain for?
I was gifted that chain. I never signed no paperwork with OTL.
Is OTF affiliated with Alamo?
On paper, I don't know, but they have an OTF artist that's signed to them.
Okay. And who is that artist?
Look,
Yes.
Oh, Your Honor, I'll withdraw.
Okay.
Now the state is dirty, dirty, dirty. Now, for one, the first thing I want to pop up with, why they keep bringing up OTF at this point of the trial. As long as we've been on this trial, you don't hear about OTF. But as soon as they get indicted, he's on the stand, and we talking about OTF and YSL. Good play on verbiage. Definitely got to salute the state with the play. But let's dig a little deeper. What happened to the OTF chain? Now, I'll tell you what happened to the chain. The same way that they gave you that chain, they actually took that chain back. Why didn't you get signed to the label? Because you up here on this case. But that's another situation, because we don't want to say too much because we know they listening from the state. But ask yourself this. Was that a smooth play for the state to sit up and actually slightly expose this man right here on the stand? Nothing new. We've seen it with every different witness that took the stand, from their own to the ones that took the plea. So ask yourself, what made him think he was different? Because his name wanted Lee? Let's dig.
Now, with Alamo Records, does Alamo Records have any specific colors that they represent?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
You're currently signed to Alamo, correct?
Yeah, you said colors though, right?
Yeah. Do they have any colors, specific colors?
Like in the office, what they wear, or what the artist should wear?
Do they have any colors specific to Alamo Records?
I think orange.
Okay. Do you have any hand signs specific to Alamo Records?
I don't know. Maybe an A sign.
Okay.
I don't know.
Does Alamo Records have any words like slat or slime related to their record label?
I think they just say Alamo.
Okay. Now, you were asked some questions on cross-examinations about your managers kind of running your social media and things of that nature. Do your managers run your direct messages to other YSL members?
Not that I know of, no.
So when you have the direct messages, is that you responding back and forth to individuals?
To people I know?
Yes.
Probably so.
In your experience, or to your knowledge, do some rappers rap about their lived experiences or rap about crimes that they have committed in the past?
You said, do they rap about the crimes they have committed in the past?
Yes, to your knowledge.
I don't know if it's real or fake, what they did in their past or not. I don't know.
Court's indulgence for a moment.
Now, this is crazy, especially when it comes to this witness. Now, last week I say, hey, this was one of the strongest witnesses for the defense, because what did he do? He accidentally read the wrong thing at the right time on purpose. Now, this week, I say that the state actually probably sat down with him and made sure that they reread their plea, because he came up here and actually did what? Cooperated everything that the state needed. Let me explain. The state only needed this witness for two things. The first thing they needed him for was internal eyes and information to actually be that centerpiece to show the connection between YSL, the associates, whether it's the gang or the label. Second thing they needed him to do was establish the fact that there is a difference between YSL, the gang, and YSL, the label. And what did this witness do? He established the fact that there is a difference between YSL, the gang, and YSL, the label. Doesn't matter which one that you are, we all at one table. Now, it's interesting because the defense, knowing that they have an uphill fight that they still have to climb, it's interesting because they still have to poke holes in this actual state's narrative when it comes to these last two defendants. But did this actual defendant actually hurt the case? Or was he actually scared by that plea and actually work more for the state? Let's dig.
Yo, stop what you're doing real quick. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit the like button. Share the video. Hit the like button. Let's dig.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Detective Stornow.
Good afternoon.
I know I briefly introduced myself to you a few minutes ago, but I am Doug Weinstein. I am Diamante Kendrick's lawyer.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Let's talk about the home on Allison Way for a few minutes. You said this home was Jeffrey Williams' home, correct?
That's correct.
Are you aware of all the other people that were living in the home at the time?
Not all of the individuals, no.
Okay, but you were aware other people other than Jeffrey Williams were living in that home at the time?
There were definitely other people that were residing in the house.
Mr. Kendrick was not one of the people that resided in that home.
We have reason to believe that he was living in the residence for some days leading up to the search warrant.
He was a guest in the home, correct?
It depends how you want to say he was a guest, or was he staying for an extended stay?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. When you looked around this house was like a party house, wasn't it? I mean, what's your opinion when you saw that?
Objection, Your Honor. Call for speculation.
When you went in the house, was 5XX up here? Let's look in the lower left corner of 5XX. What do you see in the lower left corner?
Some red, you talking about the red cups?
Yeah, the red cups.
Uh-huh.
How many, I'll call them red Solo brand cups. How's that?
Okay.
How many of those red Solo brand cups do you see there?
Just depicted here in the photo, I can see at least 7, maybe 6 or 7.
6 or 7. And they're in those like a racking a billiard cue setup, right?
That's correct.
Is that the type of thing that, you have one of those in your home?
I do not know.
Okay. Neither do I, but I guess that's neither here nor there.
No, it's not. So let's not
what about-
making commentary.
Okay, Your Honor. What about your knowledge of Mr. Williams? You know this home was occupied by, or the resident of this home, is someone that suffered from drug problems. Are you aware of that?
Objection, Your Honor. Assume the facts not admitted evidence.
Sustained.
Okay, let's talk about what you found in the home. Was he within arm's length of the marijuana?
No, I do not believe he was.
Okay, was this taken off of his body?
No.
Were any of these drugs, I don't want to go one by one, so let's try general if that'll work. Were any of these drugs that you've shown today, were any of these drugs taken off of Mr. Kendrick?
No, not off his person, no.
Okay. What about the numerous weapons that that's been shown to you today that you've shown? Were those taken off Mr. Kendrick?
Not his person, no.
Were they found within his arm length?
Within his arm length, no.
Okay. X-ray alpha. Let's look at that. Can you read what's on the front label of 62 X-ray alpha?
Sure. It has YSL, Young Stoner Life, slime drink syrup, pink cotton candy, 420 milligrams, 8 THC, net weight 5 ounces, 150 milliliters.
Okay, and what's before the 8? Does that look like a delta to you, like it says delta 8?
Yes.
Okay, so it's Delta 8 THC, at least according to the label, correct?
That's correct.
And that's the same kind of Delta 8 THC that you can buy all around Atlanta at the stores.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Are you? Let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with property evidence summary reports? In general, property reports. Are you familiar with those?
Yes.
I want to show you this a moment. Would you look at the detailed inventory of go past the vehicles to the detailed inventory of the individual items that were seized from the home? This is from Jeffrey Williams' home, correct?
Correct.
Property that was seized, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you didn't complete this particular form, correct?
No, the evidence property form, no, I did not.
And are you familiar with the procedure of how you itemize lists on a property form? Like what level of detail do you normally go into when you're itemizing items that are seized during a search and seizure warrant?
Well, you generally like to list, if it's an item that has a serial number, you'll list that. You'll describe the item. You'll list whether it's evidence, and if there's a value known, you'll put that, and you'll also add who was in possession of the said item.
Okay. Keep a hold of that for a moment, and I want to show you some other pictures that came.
Currency.
And I don't know if you know the answer to this, but do you know where this was found in Mr. Williams' home?
I don't recall off the top of my head where this jewelry was located.
But it was found in Mr. Williams' home, correct?
Correct.
Could you put DK11B, please? What are we looking at in DK11B?
I believe this same picture, just it shows more of the jewelry and watches.
DK11C, please, Mr. Kokomo.
More jewelry. It looks like there's some rings.
And DK11D, what are we looking at there?
There's a sunglass case, a ring case, more jewelry.
Okay. And would you agree that this property likely, just upon looking at it, has significant value?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. And would this be something, when you were doing an itemized evidence report, that you would list piece by piece into that report?
Piece by piece? It depends. With so much jewelry, that might be categorized all together with just jewelry.
If you just categorize it together as just jewelry, what are the procedures in place to make sure that all of this jewelry is properly tracked and doesn't walk off at some point?
Well, you would place it in an evidence bag, create a property tag for it, and secure the evidence and turn it into property.
Okay. Do you know if that was done in this case?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So if there was any particular piece of jewelry that had significant value and it was amongst here, you would have put that in a property bag and it would still be in the possession of evidence. Is that correct?
Any property that was seized would be in a property bag and submitted to evidence.
And if it disappeared from the home and didn't appear in the property bag with evidence, where would that property be?
If it disappeared from the home?
Yes.
And not in property?
Yes.
I couldn't say where the property would be.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay.
And what are the items that are contained inside of this?
It's a whole bunch of jewelry, watches, chains recovered from the residence. Rings.
The state at this time moves to tender into evidence 70 X-ray.
Detective, that's all the jewelry that was seized right there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you look through that and tell me if there is a Richard Mill or Mille, M-I-L-L-E, RM055 Bubba Watson white ceramic watch? It's pretty distinctive as it's white ceramic, so that might help your search.
Okay. I mean, I see a Richie Miller, but only it's a pink one. I don't see a white one.
I want you to confirm that there is no white one in there, just so you're certain.
You might need more space than that.
not a white one in here.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need. I have no more questions.
So let's dig. Were these defendants right to actually continue taking this all the way through? Now, in my personal opinion, what we actually just witnessed was the state actually just established the actual correlation or connection between YSL the gang and YSL the label. Now, it's interesting because, again, these defendants have not been directly connected or tied to too much of anything when it comes to this case. Now, we already know that Shannon has his own situation that he's actually going through. But ask yourself this, when it comes to Yak, was Weinstein right? Is this just get back for what they took from Yak? Now, it's interesting because we've actually watched the state sit up and waste time today with more witnesses. We got evidence missing. Who stole the watch? Was that actually just an investment for the state, especially when it came to this case? Is that why they want to actually make sure that they keep this defendant incarcerated and in confinement of the state? That sink in. Now, it's even more interesting because I feel like, in my personal opinion, the defense definitely does have a tough fight to actually go up against the state when it comes to these last two defendants. But there's a possibility that they could get that mistrial with prejudice. Now, even more interesting is we still have to actually see what all they actually have on these defendants because, again, even though Shannon was portrayed to be a suspect in one of his early situations, it later was revealed that he was actually the victim. The man almost died. So it's interesting to sit up and watch the state still portray him and play like he's actually that person. Even with Yak, yeah, his name came up. We heard one of the state's witnesses say when it came to Nut, was he actually charged for that situation? No, I don't know if he was charged for it, but I know his name came up. Definitely a big difference. And this is one of the situations that Weinstein's going to have to definitely make sure that he paints that clearer picture. Man, y'all jump in the comments, let me know. In my personal opinion, the defense actually did handle the day, and they actually did better than I actually anticipated them doing. Now, don't get me wrong. The judge in the state, plus the actual DA, they want these two defendants for whatever the situation is. So, do they know more than we know? Is it more evidence that actually they can't present? Or is the state still reaching just for a conviction? Y'all jump in the comments, let me know y'all's thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Tap that notification bell so you don't miss the drop. And definitely tap that like button if you enjoyed the content. Definitely subscribe. Jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts openly. Right or wrong, all I can say is the greater the height, the greater the weight. Till next time, I'm your host, Jay. Remember, the life you save might be your very own. Till next time, don't.